Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you so much for tuning in to The Awakening with Katina Love and segment on Inspiration Sunday. Today is May 22nd, 2016. I am your host and your spiritual awakening mentor. Our shows are designed with the intention to inspire and uplift you in every way possible. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show to share your journey to higher consciousness and promote your life's purpose in business and the healing arts, or to share your wellness products and services, I would love to speak with you. My email is lotus, L-O-T-U-S, life, L-I-F-E, number 8 at yahoo.com. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, and my name is Katina Love, K-A-T-I-N-A, Love, L-O-V-E. The topic of today's show is Your Wellness is in Your Hands. Our special guest today is Michelle Grandy. Her website is OhMichelle.com, OhMichelle.com. I'm so happy and grateful to present to you Michelle Grandy. Her beautiful spirit and caring nature will inspire you to take charge of your own wellness. Michelle has dedicated her life to helping people step into their authentic path with connection to their weight loss and wellness journey. As an AADP Certified Health Coach, author, business owner, and yoga teacher, Michelle specializes in helping people break through their biggest health and roadblocks and sabotages while learning what is holding them back to making a new commitment to themselves so that they can take the mask off and run their day-to-day life in their true, authentic wellness. Michelle, thanks so much for being a guest on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Katina. Such an honor. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So, Michelle, what started you on your wellness path, I know you had dealt with some things in your life, some health challenges that you had, and not too long ago, a few years ago. Is it like 2009 that you
2009?
picked up? Okay, I understand you were on a flight and you picked up a book and it changed your life.
You know what, Katina, that really is the bottom line. It really is. I wasn't looking for that at all. But I think for me, I was just tired of being sick, and then sick and tired of being sick. I grew up with a chronic lung disease, asthma. As far back as I can remember, as a little girl, I've always been sick. I've always suffered, and I've always been on some type of corticosteroid, some type of medication in order for me to breathe and breathe normally. And it was troublesome. And I grew up in the Washington D.C. area. You know how beautiful it is there. It's neoclassical, museums and monuments, and it's just a breathtaking and such a politically powerful city to live in. And I kind of feel privileged and honored to live there. But just a few blocks from there is where I grew up, and that side of D.C. wasn't as wasn't as beautiful because of where I grew up in the inner city. So I lived there, but what happened was I was sick, and I was sick. A lot of us during that time period, we suffered with things like asthma, and for me, it had plagued my body for so many years, it allowed me to, it just kind of hindered me in terms of doing a lot of things that I wanted to do. I played sports and I participated in a lot of activities in school, but you could bet that each and every time I participated in something, I had to either check myself into the emergency room because I was having an asthma attack, or I had to go and, digest medicine. So that happened for me in early childhood, throughout college, and even as an adult. It wasn't until I got into my 40s and realized that it's something needs to change. Something needs to change, And so that's when my family and I my family and I were taking a family vacation trip to California. I had just watched Oprah Winfrey. She had a guest there that talked about her book called The Veganist. And I knew nothing about being a vegan, what a vegan was, what a vegan even eats. And so I picked up her book because I was curious. I was always in wonder. And I read that book on the plane, and I entered the plane a carnivore. I exited the plane a cold turkey vegan.
Wow.
Because the book said it was amazing. It was amazing.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And so,
wow.
yeah.
I can relate to that because me too, growing up as a with the same ailment, asthma, and I related it back to, the lifestyle of my mom, my parents, how my mother used chemicals to clean the house with and things like that, and wasn't really regular with opening windows up. A lot of people don't realize that the air that we breathe is so very important to breathe fresh air and to be conscious of, the indoor air. Because what they're finding is that it's safer to breathe the air outside than it is inside the home. So what do you say to that, Michelle? What do you think contributed to the asthma?
Yeah. So for me, I concur with you, and that also depends on the environment in which we live, which sounds like you too. But for us, we came from a background where the chemicals were there in the inside. For me, both my mother and my grandmother smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and this was every day. So I consumed a lot of toxins.
Okay.
Even before the cigarettes came illness. I had asthma as early as a baby, an infant. I mean, we're talking about right around 2 years old is when I was told that I had asthma, according to my grandmother who passed away. Yeah. So I want to say that I was born with the chronic disease.
Okay. Now, what do you think caused that? Was it your mom? Was she smoking? Was she around people that smoke, or was it? That's probably what it was.
No, yeah.
That's how the babies come.
Certainly, my mother. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Certainly, my mother was around a lot of toxins, and she was a heavy smoker. She didn't drink a lot, but she was a very heavy smoker, and she probably, again, a lot like living where we live in toxic situations with with closed doors and just even the environment and the relationships that she had. It seems as though back then they all were smoking heavily and spraying heavily. You can relate to this, Katina. You remember when aerosols or spray deodorant, that was a way of being. And so when you release those toxins into the air,
cool. Not cool,
it's
right?
not cool. We consume it all. Absolutely. Yeah. So back then the foods were what I consider, I'm 50 today. So back then I would say that the foods were pretty much organic. It wasn't, especially if you was born, anything after 1950. But they were pretty much still organic, not as many pesticides. I remember my grandmother, our meats and our vegetables came from a farm and came from the yard. So they, we had real butchers back then, and it was okay as far as I knew back then eating that kind of meat. So it's just toxins all over is what contributed.
I see what you're saying. And see, a lot of people think that it's just a diet, that they got to watch out for. It's not. If
it's not.
If everything is caused by either the way we think, our emotions, the things we eat, the things we inhale, and so these are things that people just really need to consider. What would you say to that?
Yeah, become more aware, more educated. So for me, because I am a vegan, I'm a vegan. I don't eat anything that has a mother, anything that I don't eat any eggs, any cheese. I mean, I'm totally, and it's been 7 years now, and
wow,
it's just
wonderful.
a way of being. It's a way of being. But what happened was, even when I got off that plane about almost 7.5 years ago, I still didn't know what to eat. I still didn't know what a vegan actually, what that really meant to live that lifestyle. So for me in the beginning, within 3 months, I was off of all of my medication. So we're talking about 4 to 5 different types of steroids. I completely let go of everything. So that there was
amazing.
So profound, amazing. And that is that's my why. That's my why of why I have sustained so long. But there's no going back for me. It's just a way of living and a way of life. And so, of course, throughout the years, I now have incorporated, no byproduct, no animal byproducts, even in our home, like the toothpaste and the mouthwash and the soaps and deodorants, and even most of our cleaning accessories are plant-based, eco-friendly and from the earth, because I truly believe that toxins, we bring that into the home. Even when we are outside with our shoes on, it's important, especially for the kids, to take your shoes off before you come in the house. If you're bringing all of that into your lifestyle and you're inhaling it, even from a low level, you are inhaling it.
It is important, isn't it? It's very important. What would you say, do you have any tips on how people, since we're on this subject right now, how people can purify their homes?
Purify their homes. I say start, keep it simple. It can, and I want to say it can be expensive, because I'm in the mindset that you pay now, you pay later. I feel that we need to do whatever we can do naturally to use certain products. So, for example, you take washing powder, soap powder, what we use to clean our clothes. Well, you can make that. It's only about 3 ingredients. It's pretty simple. I love going online and Googling it, and, it comes up. And that is what I actually use to wash clothes, with essential oils. I say start small. Start with the essential the essential I use almost every day. The toothpaste, the deodorants, and even sunscreens and lotions. Start with those 4 items, and maybe washing, soap powder. Go online, Google each item. If there's a DIY, do it yourself. Start there. Or if you don't have time, even now what I call the regular grocery stores, the markets, they now carry plant-based or no animal byproducts, in their list of items. So pick it up. But those 4 items is where I would start.
Absolutely.
For eco-friendly accessories.
So I know you specialize in helping people with weight loss. Can you share with us what you recommend, like some tips of what people can do if they want to start this journey?
Yeah, so the weight loss journey is a real big item for so many of us. But more importantly than the weight loss is to sustain the weight. So there are a lot of diets out there. Yeah, and I just come from a background, because of what I know, is diets are temporary. And people, my clients come to me when they're ready for a lifestyle change, not a diet. So I kind of work from a holistic perspective. I want to be able to meet them where they are in terms of what they eat and what they drink and how they actually live their life. And then I incorporate, because they really can't change without having first changed the mindset. So for me, weight loss, lifestyle shifting comes with a mindset shift. So I work with my clients more on a mindset shift, so I can find out what makes them think the way they think, why they eat the way they eat, what's causing the constant yo-yo coming in and out. I want to really get to the root of the issue rather than masking, what's on the top layer. So we pretty much go deep. We go back into childhood. We figure out what they ate back then and how they ate and what mom was like and what did dad say to them or grandparents say to them in order to cause them to make the decisions that most people make today. They're still holding on to these limited beliefs that we were told about ourselves, and it has a direct effect on the way we live our lives, our diet in particular, today. So from a holistic perspective, mindset shifting, and then we work our way back into what's good today, because I want to be able to make sure that people still enjoy food.
Absolutely.
So for me,
Isn't that important?
Yeah, it really is. So take, for example, somebody who's not interested in being a vegan, because about 95% of my clients are not vegans. They just really want to know how to eat properly and eat really good tasting foods, but be able to sustain the weight, because people exercise, and I always say that's about 20% of a lifestyle, but the food will be the determining factor. So we can go out and we can do an hour's worth of sweat, but if we come back and we eat the same steaks and potatoes and pasta, well, nothing really is changing. So what I encourage is I want to be able to take the same foods that they eat today and just kind of put a different twist on that. So, for example, and I need to find out what they're eating, but if they're eating, let's just say chicken, for example, fried chicken, instead of frying the chicken, because they still what about baked chicken to start? Or what about grass-fed baked chicken to start? So as you know, I'm vegan, so I don't really I meet clients where they are, but I show them alternatives to meat. So if they say to me, Michelle, I want my chicken or I want a piece of fish, I may cook for them or show them how to make a dish that can almost like mimic the taste using certain plant-based foods, so where they don't really miss out on that chicken and that fish, but I give them a while to just kind of consume that. Nothing happens fast. Let's just eat that dish maybe 2 days out of 7, for example. Let's get used to eating that and see what that feels like with all the flavors, and let's see how we like it. Does it need to be tweaked? And so I meet them where they are, with meats and their foods, but my goal is to try to get them to look at things on a more healthier perspective, That
is so important. Can you talk to us about nutrition? How important nutrition is, like that we get the nutrition that we need from our foods.
Yeah, so I was going to say food is nutrition. So, and nutrition is food. So, I've really never been big with supplements. I really have not, especially being a vegan. The only supplement I've ever taken was a B12, and that's Today I'm a B12 girl. I just recently partnered with a company, ID Life, because what I realize is that I'm vegan, but majority of the people are not. But the majority of the people are not really ready to make any conscious shifts right now. And so I offer those particular supplements because they're non-GMO, they're gluten-free, soy-free, casein-free, gluten-free. The capsules are not vegan. So for me, when I do use, because in the beginning I want to be able to try what I offer, I would open up the capsules and put them into my meals or into my drinks, et cetera, but that becomes work for me. So for me today, I do my B12, but for people who are looking for nutrition, for me first is food. It has to come from the food. But we have to make sure that we're eating enough plants to get that whole foods nutrition. So again, that's part of what I teach. It's part of what I lean into with people to first get their nutrition by way of food.
Okay.
People are busy. Yeah.
Right.
Katina, as you know, people are very busy. They don't have a lot of time. They don't even have a lot of time to cook. So it's important that we keep it simple. We keep it simple in terms of cooking recipes that are short but yet effective. But there's a lot of raw food. There's a lot of salads, a lot of bean salads, a lot of protein-based salads that I offer or that I show how to prepare quickly. A lot of green juices, and not just green, but just juicing, period. Even smoothies with different nutritional foods that you can combine for a complete protein meal replacement. So all of this is part of nutrition. And then you have the people who love supplements. You'll be surprised. So in that regard is where I say I have a solution for you. And here it is. And so, again, nutrition we're talking about high-quality supplements that is backed by scientific proof. That is when I offer those to different clients. I kind of try to meet people where they are, in other words.
Yes, it's important, isn't it? And, this is near and dear to my heart, Michelle, because I have that same background as you as a health coach. And, I work with a lot of different people, and people are truly looking for answers on way to be natural and be well. And so, this is important. Our food is so important, and I with you all the way, especially, would you say that green food should be the basis of our diet? Should it be like the base, do you think? What do you think about that?
Absolutely it should. Well, I think that vegetables, I think that people need to eat more plants. I think that there should be, some kind of greens on your plate at each meal, including breakfast. Breakfast. So, for example, even for my family, they may have spinach. They may have spinach. I'm talking about, or a salad for breakfast with a protein shake for them. So I just think that having greens is the key to life. Eat more plants, no matter what we do. So I try to incorporate and kind of teach people how to incorporate eating plants with every single meal, whether it's raw plant-based eating or steamed, but not overcooking, but steaming them. So good, and so many condiments to put on it.
Absolutely.
To make it tastier.
Absolutely. Yes. So, what do you think about, so what percentage would you say should be raw food?
Oh, well, it depends on who you're talking to, but I would say 75%. I would say 75% of your nutritional intake from food should be raw. Yeah, because what happens with cooked food is this, and what happens with cooked food is this. When we cook food, especially anything over 100, and I think it's about 180 degrees, and that's anything that we cook. That's why it's good to saute for a minute, not long. Don't saute where the vegetables become mushy. Saute where the vegetables and or fruit is still crunchy-like. So once we start to cook food over 180 degrees, we're cooking out the important enzymes. So when we eat this food, it's already been nutritionally depleted. So we're already eating dead. food. So raw food is still live. It's still live. So when it's live, it's gonna have more nutrition. And it's gonna have much more enzymes. So that's a whole different conversation, because even if we're not growing our own fruits and vegetables, we lose enzymes, we lose nutrition, because our food is traveling from country to country, from state to state, from city to city. So about when we go to purchase it in the grocery store, well, guess what? The nutrition has already been depleted, and then we take it home and we cook it. So we're just eating dead food. And so
we just do more to it, right?
Yes. So I say 75% of our food needs to be eaten in a raw manner. So it's so look at it like this. Perhaps breakfast and lunch should be almost like a total fruits and vegetables. And yes, there's a lot of protein.
Breakfast and lunch.
And fruits and vegetables. Yes, it is. And you can survive. And then maybe let a dinner to be that cooked food, that 25% moving down to 20%. But yeah, 75%. I say it's a good percentage of raw food consumption.
A lot of people like to know where to get the protein from. If they don't eat the meat, how do they get the protein? That's the question that I got about. What would you say?
Yeah. Well, I say dark. Well, that's how I live my life, and I get blood work done every 2 years. I don't go to the doctors every year. Every 2 years, I see my doctor. Because I was stricken with asthma, I still see a cardiologist every 2 years just to make sure that everything is just pumping, everything is going well. And so over the last 7 years, it's just been great news. He still kind of can't believe how I'm living my life and I'm not taking any medication. So dark leafy greens. Dark leafy greens is where I would start. More alkaline food than anything. So we're talking about your collards and your kale, your spinach. I mean, just think about it. A cup of spinach has more protein than a piece of steak, and people don't realize that. So you can eat spinach all day long and not even worry about weight gain, and you're still getting your protein.
Right.
I mean, and then we go and we cut a piece of steak and we feel tired and sluggish because you know what? The steak is already we're eating dead food. We're consuming dead food. So, and not even to say what it does to the body, how it clogs the arteries. I mean, so that's a whole different conversation.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
It really
unnecessary.
is unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's toxic. It's sickening. Yeah.
What about our ancestors when they ate it? Is it because that they had more physical activity and it was organic?
Well, think about it.
It
was non-toxic. It was organic, lots of activity, but it was still organic food. Today it's highly processed. We're talking about pesticides, herbicides. It's a lot. Pesticides, herbicides, all kinds of Prozac is in chicken. Is in your meat. So just think about that. When we eat a piece of chicken, our body is being, it's starting to have a sense of mental illness, if you know what I'm saying.
I've heard that before.
Really? And
I know.
Why we are crazy.
I understand. I can't believe that we have like 3 minutes left. Could you talk about a minute about yoga? I know it's very near and dear to your heart. I know it's important.
Oh my gosh, it really is.
I love yoga.
And, I can. And thank you. Me too. We got to talk about that offline as well. But yoga is amazing. I mean, even during my approach to eating a plant-based diet and going back to school for nutrition, and I found yoga. I found yoga when I moved down south, down to the Hilton Head. I live in the Bluffton, South Carolina area close to Hilton Head, and I found yoga for the first time in my life. And yoga is so much love. It's so much peace. And it's a way of being as well.
It is.
So it brought me to a level of consciousness about how I live my life, who I really am, and who do I want to serve. It's everything that yoga entails. So yoga's pretty powerful because what I'm finding out is that it's not just about and I've been knowing this for a while, but it's not just about the asanas. It's not just about a pose, right? Stretching into a pose. Yoga is a little deeper than that. It's a mental way of being. It kind of dictates the way we live our lives. And again, it goes right back to who you are. It makes you question yourself about who you are. What do you want to give? Who do you want to serve? Right? And so when we incorporate asana with yoga, or asana in a class setting or a home yoga practice setting, when we're stretching and when we're moving to the beat of our breath, what happens is some people want to go deeper, and going deeper allows you to connect with your mind in a deeper way so that you can be able to twist a little deeper. Twisting a little deeper is just not twisting. It's really mindset shifting. because how you are on your yoga mat is typically how you are in life. So if you can deal with a twist and be able to come out of that, but bring ease and grace to that, well, that is what you want to mimic or how you want to live your life, off the mat as well. In everything we do with our coaching businesses, with our families, everything, our friendships and our relationships. So it's brought pure joy to me, and it's what I also teach my clients as well. Yeah.
That is amazing, Michelle. That is just awesome. Thank you so much. One more thing. Share with us, if someone wants to work with you, how would they reach out to you? And what are the services you offer?
Yep. So to get in contact with me, I would say just go to my website. There's a schedule that pops up all the time, but it's omichelle.com. So, of course, we have the www and Michelle.com. And I work with any and everybody who are looking for a lifestyle change, not just a diet, but who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, of being sick and tired of living the way they are. They want to feel good and live a healthy, happy lifestyle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being a guest. And you do have a book, right?
I do, and that is also on my website as well. I'm working on a transformation book as we speak. So, yeah, lots of things happening.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And the name of your current book?
Well, the last one is Amazing Wellness, and it's all about a woman's total life in terms of wellness. So, yep, that's on my website as well. And they can reach out. Anybody can reach out to me with any questions. So, Katina, thank you so much. I appreciate this space you allowed me to share. Any opportunity to share on wellness is amazing.
Thank you so much for being a guest, Michelle. And thank you, audience, for tuning in to The Awakening with Katina Love. Namaste. Namaste.